Hey everyone, Dan McKenzie here with McKenzie Law Firm. We are a law firm in the Denver, Colorado area specializing in estate planning, estate administration, and small business counsel. And I wanted to make a quick video today just talking about something that people probably don't necessarily associate with estate planning, and that's prenuptial agreements. And actually, prenuptial agreements can have a very important role in your estate plan because the one person, at least in Colorado, that you really cannot cut out of your estate plan, at least not without their written permission, is your spouse. And there's a formula in Colorado for determining how much you have to leave for your spouse. And to oversimplify it quite a bit, that formula says that you need to leave about 5% of your estate to your spouse for each year of marriage, up to 50%. And so what that means is if you pass away and you've been married for, let's say, 4 years, the 5% per year means you got to leave about 20% of your estate to your spouse. Now, like I said, that's greatly oversimplified. There are a number of tweaks to that formula to account for how much the surviving spouse owns by themselves, how much was given away as like gifts before the marriage, how much you co-own together, how much was given away versus, through designated beneficiary instructions and other out of probate ideas. And so it's not necessarily a straight up idea. But if you leave a will that says, I am not actually leaving anything to my spouse, your spouse can ask that that will be set aside and that they get to take what's called their spousal share. And so that can really throw off your estate plan. And so there are a lot of situations where people have gotten remarried later in life and didn't necessarily mean to combine finances. And they might have stuff that they kind of consider to be things they want to give to their kids and not necessarily their spouse. And again, that might not be for any reason related to, unhappiness with the spouse or anything like that. It's just like, hey, we kind of brought in our own financial affairs. We already we're all kind of financially independent. We're not getting married necessarily to combine finances. And that wasn't what we meant to do. But if it's not in writing in Colorado, that is, you need that written permission to get around that spouse idea. And that's what the prenup is. And so you may kind of associate, like I said, prenuptial agreements with divorce, family law issues, and they usually do deal with that too, but they don't necessarily have to. And you might really have a reason to feel like, a very common scenario we see is where people own like things that they had with the previously deceased spouse, or things that were family heirlooms. And again, they mean for that to go to their kids. Well, if that family heirloom is like a piece of real estate that takes up a very large portion of your estate, that if you have to leave 50% of your estate to your spouse, it might be hard to do that if that piece of real estate is included in there. And so again, you might need to come up with some sort of written agreement about that. And if you are already in a situation where you've gotten married and are realizing like, hey, I want to create an estate plan that does not necessarily leave things to my spouse, you can do that. Again, you can do the planning together, and you can even have what's called a postnuptial agreement. But obviously, at that point, the negotiating positions are a little bit different once you've gotten married. So it's good to think about this before you get married. And I'm definitely not saying everyone needs a prenup. I don't have a prenup with my own wife, so this is not something I'm saying everybody should get. But especially, again, second marriages, later in life marriages where you're bringing your previous kids from previous relationships in, you had assets, those kinds of things. Those are things where you probably should consider having some sort of agreement with your new spouse about, hey, we're not gonna abide by the spousal rules and include each other in our estate plans. And it's not a comment on the marriage or the strength of our relationship. It's just the financial practicalities. So if we can talk with you about that or be helpful on that front, we are, again, the McKenzie Law Firm, 303-578-2745, and we'd be happy to have that discussion. Hope this helps. Thanks.